Hey, welcome to Mama Mandala, where magic is somatic. If you are into stories, fairy tales, myths, and moving your body, this one is for you. I'm so excited you're here. I'm Hagar, and once upon a time, there was a princess who was known to be the most beautiful in all the lands. And the princess already, we begin this story with this part of ourselves that is not the queen, that is not the big ruler, but is a princess. We arrive in this story at its beginning, at the part of ourselves that at any point in our lives can show up right at the precipice of transformation. A part of ourselves that is not the youngest part, but is not the mature part. A part that is about to go through a process of transformation, maturation, and growing into more of who we can become. And she goes out into the forest, which already tells us that she leaves the comfort of the palace, the comfort of the familiar world and the walls that protect her, and goes out into the forest, into the wild, into the places where light and shadow interact with one another in ways that cause the eyes to learn to see things in fresh perspectives, in fresh light, because the light is not direct, it is broken through the canopy of trees. It moves into the forest, and we can see things a little differently in there. It's not just light, it's the shadows that cause the forest to teach us more about ourselves. And really, this is the invitation for this story. And I think also for our yoga practice, we're invited through fairy tales and through the practice of yoga to move into the unconscious, to move into the land of shadows and light. And she plays with a great symbol of light. She plays with a golden ball. She goes out into the forest with her golden ball, which is the presence of the sun in her hands, and she throws it up in the air and catches it. So she plays with that source of light, of comfort, of warmth that is the source of life of all of us. And she plays around with it because she's that part of us that is playful. And one day she plays with her favorite ball, her golden ball, by a well, and the ball, instead of dropping back down into her hands, drop into the well. In some stories it's into a spring or into a pond. And she sees her favorite toy going into the well, and there's no way that she can go after it. She doesn't know what to do, and she just sits there by the well, the way that we do when we lose something that we really cherish. It's this precious part of our lives and of ourselves that has gone down into the well, into the depth, into the unconscious. And so she sits by the well and cries. And then she lifts her head because she hears a voice, a croaking voice saying, "Rabbit, why are you crying, princess?" Right? And she opens her eyes to see a frog sitting on the edge of the well. And she tells the frog with all honesty and innocence, I lost my ball. I lost my ball. It fell into the well, and I love this ball. It's my favorite ball." Like it's that part of ourselves that's longing for this source of light that we lost. Like my children started school yesterday, and I just feel like this summer break with them was this precious ball, this precious golden ball that we've thrown up, and it came down. We caught it and we played and we had fun, and now they're back at school, and now I'm back in that schedule and that time in life where I prefer summer break with them. I'll be honest, right? So there's this immature part of me that's like, I don't wanna. I lost my ball. I don't want to go back to school. I don't want to go back to the schedule, to the mundane, right? I want to stay in that golden glow, in that playtime, right? So the frog says, "Oh, do you want your ball back, princess?" And the princess says, "Of course." And the frog can go down into the unconscious. The frog can go into the murky, dark waters of the pond. The frog can go down into the depth of the dark well of our being and retrieve from there the golden ball. Because life is cyclical. Because summer break with my kids will come again, and they'll be different, and I'll be different, and it's not going to be the same. My kiddo is about to transition. She's a princess. She's about to transition into her teenage years. So our next summer break is not going to be the same. So when the ball returns, when the frog goes down into the depth of the unconscious to retrieve that which we thought we lost, but cyclically we know is not lost, it will return. It will return differently. It will come back to us, but we're going to be different, and the experience will be different. So we have so many things like that in our lives that we can think about, right? That are of this nature, because life is cyclical. And so, and it's the sun, right? The golden ball is the sun. It's the source of life. So it tells us about our cyclicality because we spin around it, because we cycle around it. So the frog is that part of us, those parts of us, it's not just one, it's many, that we reject, it's not the big monster part of us, right? It's a frog. It's not a monster. It's not a demon. It's not a part of the shadow that that endangers us. But it's a part we don't want to look at. It's like the parts of you that are kind of not the prettiest, right? It's like you don't want to kiss them. You don't want those parts of you to sleep on your pillow. They're slippery and maybe a little smelly, and there's something about how they feel that just and how they look, and you're just like, I wish that wasn't a part of me, but it is, right? And that part lives in the darkness of the unconscious. We've rejected it. The frog is the rejected part, because the princess doesn't want it to come with her, right? Because this is the next part of the story, is that the frog tells the princess, "Do you want me to get your ball?" And the princess says, Could you get my ball back?" And the frog says, "Of course I can, princess, but in one condition." And then he tells the princess that the princess must let the frog sleep on her pillow and eat from her golden plate and do everything with her. Sit on her lap, snuggle with her at night. And this is not what we want to do with the parts of ourselves that we've rejected, right? This is not what we feel like doing with the parts of ourselves that we don't want to look at. We just rather suppress it, push it down. I'm not that, right? We tell ourselves, whatever that is for you, I'm not that. But what's really amazing is that our yoga practice is that dive of the frog to retrieve the ball, right? Yoga, like fairy tales, touches our unconscious. It makes us go down into the earth and retrieve the aspects of ourselves that we don't want to look at, to start to create an openness toward them. There's going to be resistance. We're not going to get rid of our resistance to the parts of ourselves that we don't love so much, that we don't feel like sleeping with at night. The resistance will be there. The resistance is part of the growing process. But when we start to create an openness toward it, transformation occurs, right? The transformation already occurs when we start to open ourselves up to it. So the frog says, I'll bring you the bowl, but I want to sleep next to you. And the princess is like, okay, sure, anything for that ball. And she thinks to herself, I'm not going to let the frog sleep with me. Frogs don't belong in the palace. Frogs don't belong in my bed. So she lets the frog go get the ball, and the frog spits the ball out on the grass, and the princess says, thank you so much. And she picks the ball, and it's like a little slimy for the mouth of the frog, so she wipes it on whatever she can. She finds a leaf and she wipes it, She grabs the ball, and she starts walking back to the palace, and the frog's like, "Hey, ribbit, did you forget something?" And the princess is like, "No, I didn't forget anything. Thank you, bye." And she runs, and the frog's like, "You forgot our agreement, ribbit!" And it starts hopping after her, because that's what happens to the parts of ourselves that we ignore, that we don't want to acknowledge that they show up. We've done something that is we're not proud of, and we turn our backs to it and we run away. But you know what that part does? It hops all the way to the palace of our being and knocks on the door while we're having dinner with King Daddy, right? And that part, the frog knocks on the door, and the princess goes and opens the door, because that's how the story goes. And she opens the door, and there's the frog. And she's like, "Oh!" And she slams the door, right? Don't we all do that? And she goes back to her meal, and she's just kind of playing with her food. And the king's like, "Who is at the door?" The princess like, "No one." And knock again, and she doesn't want to answer, right? So the king goes and opens the door, and he sees the frog, and the frog tells the king, "Your daughter promised me that I could sleep on her pillow and eat from her plate if I retrieve her favorite ball." And the king says, "Oh, did she? Interesting." And he comes back to the table with a frog in his hand, and he says, "Did you promise this frog that you would let him sleep on your pillow and eat from your plate?" And the princess says, "I guess I did." Right? Because we don't want to admit it, but a part of the process of growing up is and maturing, not just growing up as in from an adolescence into an adult, but all of the processes in our lives, no matter how old we are, there's going to be the young part, and then the willingness to mature, the willingness to show up, to admit what we've done, and to take responsibility, and to have accountability, and to reweave the frog back into our lives. And so, okay, yeah, I did. And the king says, "Well, promises must be kept," right? The king is this, it's the patriarch, right? But it's that part of it. We can explore it from that perspective some other time. We can explore this story from so many perspectives, and we can, and we will. But in this moment, we'll just remind ourselves that the king is this mature presence in us that says, "Okay, I have to take responsibility for who I am and for all my parts." And so the princess says, "Okay," and she lets the frog eat. And at night, the frog comes after her to her bedroom. Oh, she doesn't want to let him sleep on her pillow. Oh, but he reminds her that she promised, and if she doesn't let him, he's going to tell her father that she's not keeping her promise. So she lets the frog sleep on her pillow. And who can sleep like that when this aspect of ourselves that we have to take responsibility for is like gnawing at us, staring at us? It's slimy, and it's not the prettiest. I love frogs, by the way. I don't want to make the frog an ugly thing, but that's the representation. That's the symbol, right? Love frogs. They are princes after all. So she's just tossing and turning and doesn't want to, and the frog's like, "Kiss me." Oh, and the princess like, "Hell no, are you crazy? Kiss you? What? Get out of here." And the frog's like, "Kiss me." The princess is like, "I'm not going to kiss you. This is not part of the agreement." And the frog says, "Kiss me. If you kiss me, something wonderful will happen." And the princess is like, in some versions of the story, she throws the frog at the wall, and that's what turns him into a prince. And in some versions of the story, she just feels for the frog, because she just feels it, right? It's like that part of us that awakens to the responsibility that we have to show up to it. There's also all kinds of problems with it, but we'll ignore it for this exploration today, and we can explore other aspects, as I said, in another time. But she kind of closes her eyes, and she's having a really hard time, but she pricks her lips, and the frog comes close, and she just like very gently gives it a little kiss. And as we know, the frog turns into a prince, and how joyful, right? Because they live happily ever after. Isn't that what happens? But it doesn't, and I'll tell you why. Because the ball it reemerges, right, into her hands again, and she's gonna want to keep playing with the ball, or she will have a daughter who loves this ball. The ball will be retrieved, will fall again into the well and be retrieved again by another frog. We will have all kinds of experiences in life that make us lose the sun, the golden radiance of our being, and the way into retrieving it is in the dark and through the frogs of our being, through the creatures of the murky depths of who we are, that we can retrieve the light of the sun again. So if this is the season right now of we're not quite in the fall yet, we have the last phase of summer, but we can feel how the sun is starting to this is in the northern hemisphere, it's starting to lose its power, right? So we're seeing the world starting to move toward the well, toward the pond. And this is a great time to consider and contemplate and have conversations with the parts of us as they show up that we're uncomfortable with, that we just want to ignore, so that we can retrieve the light, so that we can find the presence and the power of the sun inside of us. And this is great to remember at this moment in history, or we're witnessing fascism, not just on the rise, but really in the making. And I don't want to bypass we're not bypassing the shadow. We have to, this is a time of deep, dark well, right? So we have to see inside of ourselves and have conversations with parts of ourselves that are the frog, that are not pretty, that maybe even with the demons inside of us, so that we can retrieve the light, so we can bring it back, so that we can become more mature, so that our transformation from frog to prince can show us the integration of more parts of ourselves, rewarding the hard work that we do, and beyond the reward, allowing us to become something that rewards our environment, that brings fulfillment not only to ourselves, but serves something more than us. Because this is a story about more than one part of ourselves coming together, right? All stories are, right? And so it's more than ourselves that is being served by our process of integrating the parts of ourselves that we have a hard time with. And so let's turn that into a practice. This was just touching the surface barely of what more we can do with this. But let's come to stand tall at the top of the mat, and with an inhalation, reach your arms all the way up. Reach up for the sun, for the sky, for the light, and exhale softly. Join your hands together and bring them through the front of your face to the front of your heart. And take another deep breath in as you circle your arms up again. This is a story of circles, of cycles. Exhale the hands to the heart, of a ball rolling. Inhale and reach your arms up again, and bring a tone to the back of the throat, so you start to engage in a conversation with your breath. Exhale, bring your hands to the heart. So when we practice, the reward is not only that we become the prince and the princess love story, inhale, reach your arms up, but that our maturity becomes something that shows up, exhale the hands to the heart, to the world in a way that helps more than us. Inhale and reach your arms up again. And now with an exhalation, bend the knees and bring your forearms to your thighs. Inhale deeply, reach your hips back and your chest forward. Rest your rib cage and your belly on your thighs and exhale, lower yourself all the way, knees still bent, fingertips down to the floor. Release the crown of the head toward the floor. If this is too much on your back or the back of your legs, on your hamstrings, you can put your hands on blocks. Inhale, look forward, halfway up. Exhale, fold back in. So tone the back of the throat. Deep, slow Ujjayi breath. Inhale and look forward, halfway up. Exhale, slowly fold back in. Inhale, look forward one more time. Press down into the balls of your feet and energetically pull your heels back. Exhale, fold back in as a way to ground and root into more parts of you. Inhale, bring your forearms to your thighs. Bend the knees still or even deeper. Hips back and chest forward. Exhale slowly to root your feet into the earth. Inhale and reach your arms all the way up. Straighten your leg. Arms circle around you, and exhale, bring your hands together through the front of your face to the front of your heart. Cycling through. Inhale, reach your arms up high, because the prince and princesses, exhale, bend the knees and bring your fingertips all the way to the earth. Don't end up in a happily ever after situation. Inhale, look forward. We all know that, right? This is the beginning of a new cycle for them. Exhale, fold back in. And guess what? Each of them is going to discover more frogs. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Bend the knees on the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. So as you move right here, cycling through this movement, this is a reminder for you. Inhale, your arms up. That wherever you are on your journey right now, bend the knees as you exhale and bring your fingertips down to the floor, and maybe stretch your legs straight if that's okay for you. Inhale, look forward. Wherever you are right now, you might see similar things at some other point. Exhale, fold back in. Bend the knees, reach your arms all the way up. Working on ourselves doesn't end. There's no, oh, I married the prince, happily ever after. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Every person that has a long-term relationship knows that. Inhale, reach your arms up high. The prince becomes the frog sometimes. Exhale, bend the knees and circle your arms all the way back and bring your fingertips to the earth. Inhale, look forward, halfway up. Whoa. Gracie just got very excited because the mailman's here. Exhale, fold back in. Gracie, come here. Inhale, look forward. I got a little jarred by this. Exhale, step your left leg back and bring your left knee down to the earth. Inhale, reach your arms up high. Even Gracie barking in my YouTube videos reminds me of the imperfections, right? I'm not going to edit this. Life is imperfect. It's moving around. And how can I connect to the fullness of it when I'm a frog and when I'm a golden sun? Draw the right heel and the left knee toward each other and draw the front of your hip bones towards each other. So there's this engagement in your lower belly and in your hips, and then reach the upper body up, lengthen and lift. But as much as you lengthen and lift, push down and ground deeply into the earth. One more breath in. Exhale, bring your fingertips back down to the earth and step back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. We are not perfect, and when we work on ourselves, it doesn't take away the issues, the problems, the wounds. It's a process of healing and rediscovery and reopening and re-engaging. So transformation is not linear and there's no end point. It's spiralic and cyclical. Bring your knees down to the floor with an inhalation and press your hands into the earth very powerfully, very deeply, deep into the depth of you. Exhale, bring your hips down. So you're going from all fours into cobra. So hips go down and now point your feet and lift your chest up. Broaden through your collarbones. Deep, slow inhale. Exhale through all fours, tuck your toes, stretch up and back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Slow, deep Ujjayi. Transformation happens in the dark, but it happens when we let the ball of goldenness drop into the dark so that we can start to learn to see down there. Inhale the right leg up. Start to learn to see and live with. Bend the knee and open up the hip, the imperfections, the parts of us that we're like, oh, why are they so froggish? Circle your ankle around. Again, there's a circling, a cycling, a moving around so that we can see many perspectives, so that we can start to learn to see the prince inside the frog. Reach your leg back, deep breath. Exhale, step your right foot forward in between your hands. Deep breath in. Come up high on the fingertips of your hands and exhale. Reach your right arm up to the sky into a twist. Now draw the front of your hip bones, the ASIS, the anterior superior iliac spine, towards each other and the right side of the ribs toward the left. Circle the arm around you. With an inhalation, lift it up, and with an exhalation, drop it back behind you. And then bring it forward. Inhale all the way up. And exhale behind you and then down to the earth, circling and up. And keep the ASISs drawing towards each other and the ribs drawing towards each other. One more, exhaling down. Inhale up. Exhale, bring it, circle it, cycle it down. Touch the ground and spin the left heel to the floor. Bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Stretch your left arm up and over your head. Now, lining this up, I notice that my back heel is lined with my front heel, more or less, and I want the back foot, the middle of my back foot, to be lined up with my front heel. That feels better on my hips. And you can explore it a little bit in yours. I'm not gonna dogmatically tell you how to do it, but in general, that helps create more, a healthier alignment in the hips, mostly. So walk it back a little bit if you're like me and you need to. And then deep breath, draw the front of the hip bones towards each other, the sides of the ribs towards the center. With an inhale, reach your arm up, and with an exhale, lower it back behind you, and then circle it, cycle it in front of you, and inhale, reach it toward the front of the mat, the front of the room, and then up, and then exhale all the way down and back behind you, circling it in front of you, and inhale to lift it up, and exhale to bring it back. And keep the ASISs moving towards one another, even as you're circling the arm. That's going to create a big stretch in the side of your body. And now with an exhalation, as you lower the arm first behind you and then in front of you, bring the fingertips all the way down to the floor. Lift your back heel up and step your back foot forward. Uttanasana, forward bend. Feel your body right now. It's gone through a big journey on one side, a big cycle. There's a big integration that may occur. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step your right foot back. Bring your right knee down to the earth. Reach your arms up. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Pull your right knee and your left heel toward each other energetically. So there's engagement. There's the willingness to go, okay, don't want to freaking live with a frog in my plate every dinner, but I'm going to have to let it, right? Draw the front of the hip bones toward each other, the sides of the ribs toward each other, toward the center. But I made a promise. There's the willingness to dive into a conversation with ourselves that where we're slowly taking responsibility. That it doesn't happen fast necessarily, right? It can be a big process, a big journey. Fingertips reach up and deep into the front knee. Deep breath in. Exhale, touch the earth. Plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. The hands root down into the murky darkness of the pond, into the depth of the well of your being. The hands that learn to retrieve the golden ball, to retrieve the light, to pull it back, to see more of yourself and of life and of the world. Inhale, bring your knees down to the ground. Keep the tips of your fingers and the inner edges of your hands rooted. And exhale, again, we're going to go into Cobra from here. So as you transition, your shoulders, the front of your shoulders will tend to push forward. So pull them back as you slowly bring your hips down. So then your heart, point your feet, spread your toes, root the toenails, and your heart can be open. There's that openness. It doesn't mean there's no resistance. Resistance is helpful. Draw the sides of the ribs towards each other, the ASISs towards each other. Don't lose the integrity that resistance gives you when you open your heart. The resistance of the princess is important for the transformation that she goes through. And then exhale through all fours. Tuck your toes, stretch back into downward facing dog. The resistance is necessary, but so is the willingness to soften the edges. Left leg up, inhale. It's not one thing instead of the other. Bend the knee and open up the hip. It's the integration of all the parts, right? And in a way, this is part of what this story can invite us into. Circle the ankle around. Again, circling around so that you can see more, so that you can learn more, so that you can integrate more, so that less parts stay in exile. More parts brought into the palace. Reach the leg back. Deep breath in. Exhale, step your foot forward. In between your hands. Deep, slow inhale to lengthen your spine. And with an exhalation, stretch your left arm up. Slow breath. Deep inhale. ASISs towards each other, sides of the ribs towards the center, and exhale. Reach your arm back behind you and drop it toward the ground, and then reach it forward and inhale deeply. Reach it all the way up. Exhale, reach it back. Let the sun of you make the whole of you cycle around it. Inhale. Let it become a ceremonial circling, so that we learn to love more parts. Frogs, toads, and all. And then with this exhalation, bring your fingertips down to the earth. Spin the right heel to the ground. Line up your right heel with your left heel with the middle of your right foot, and bring your left forearm to your left thigh. Right arm up and over your head. Slow breath. We're going to draw the front of the hip bones, the ASISs towards each other, the sides of the ribs towards each other. Deep engagement in the center as you reach and lengthen. And then inhale, reach the arm up, and with an exhalation, slowly reach it back behind you. Drop it toward the earth, and as it goes in front of your face, inhale and reach it all the way up. And I can feel how you can keep going with your breath. You now know what happens with the inhale and the exhale. I can feel my body wanting to drop as I go with the arm forward. So I'm going to resist it. Again, resistance is important. ASISs draw towards each other. So as I create these changes with my right arm, I am still holding strong in the core and in the hips and in the legs. One more round. And the exhale takes the arm back and then all the way back down to the earth. Lift your back heel up and step your back foot forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold back in. Step now all the way back and lie down on your belly. You're gonna bring the left forearm in front of you and prop yourself up, prop your chest up. Bend your right knee and reach back with the right hand and hold the big toe side of your right foot and bring your right foot close toward your right hip. This is Ardha Bekasana, half frog. Spread your toes. You're not surprised, right? Toes are spread. There's engagement and a stretching and opening. There's resistance and a softening and in the heat of the intensity, there's transformation. Slowly with an inhale, keep things engaged in the leg. Reach your foot all the way back and then bring your right forearm in front of you and bend your left knee to grab your left foot. And if you did the other side, do the other side. Grab the inner edge of the foot and bring it toward your hip. If you're very flexible here, you can turn your hand over the foot. But if this is too much for you, just keep the hand on the inside of the foot. Still with deep engagement. It is a heart opening. It is a back bend. It's a big shoulder opening. And it's a very powerful thigh stretch, right? There's a lot of opening here. So keep things engaged. Front of the hip bones, ASASs. Draw towards each other. Sides of the ribs towards the center. The foot pulls into the hand as the hand pushes into it and brings the foot closer in towards the hip. And then with an inhalation, keep the engagement and let the leg go all the way back. And then lie down on your belly for a moment. You can make a pillow with your hands and rest your head. Slow breath. Rest into the parts of you that hold and support the experience. The parts of you that both hold you accountable and also support you in the challenge. Like if there was a queen, the king holds the princess accountable. If there was a queen, she would embrace her and tell her she understands how difficult it is, because you know what, her father used to be a frog too. Right? So lean into that, the whole, the well-roundedness. Here's the ball again, the well-roundedness of holding yourself both accountable and in a space of love. Bekasana, full Bekasana. So now both feet are going to go the way that we just had one foot go. And this is deep. And if it's a lot for you, you can do half again. Okay, we're going to do it 3 times. So bend both of your knees, spread your toes so the legs are engaged. Draw the front of the hip bones towards each other, sides of the ribs towards each other, and lengthen your lower back from the ribs all the way through your hips. Then reach back with your hands and grab the inner edges of your feet. Maybe this is it for you, and you just bring the feet closer in towards your hip, and you stay here and you breathe. And when it gets like to be too much, you can release it. But challenge yourself. Sometimes when we feel like, okay, I'm done, that's a frog, right? We don't want to look at, or we don't want to experience the challenge, the intensity, the ferocity of transformation. If you can, rotate your fingers over your toes. It's hard to speak when I'm on my belly like that. Bring your feet toward your outer hip and breathe. If your knees play out too much, if your legs relax, this can be dangerous for your knees. So pull your knees energetically in. Squeeze your legs, engage them. And then slowly, with still engagement, release the legs all the way back. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest your head and your frog on the pillow and breathe. I'm not resting all the way down because my mic is on the chest, so I don't want to mess up your audio. So there's an intensity that happens in poses like this, in all kinds of asanas and poses in yoga that really challenge us. And when it's an injurious kind of pain, you want to make sure you come out of it, realign, maybe not do it online because there's no teacher to help you and make sure that you're doing it in a way that's safe. But there's the kind of intensity that is not pain that's injurious. It's more, oh, this is hard, right? When it's, oh, this is hard, it's a frog. So bring it in, breathe with it, let it eat from the plate. It will be a prince, promise. Bend your knees, spread your toes, reach back with your hands, grab the inner edges of your feet. Keep breathing. And maybe this is where you're staying. Maybe you're not going very deep, but you're still doing the form of it. Maybe you're just bending your elbows a little bit and bringing your feet closer towards your hips. If you're doing that, your shoulders will tend to go forward like this. Pull them back. This is a heart opener, shoulder opener. And you want to make sure that your wrists and your shoulders are safe. If you can, turn your fingers over your toes and hold your toes and maybe pull on them. Legs are still strong. Pull them towards one another. Pull your what do you call them? Feet towards your hip and breathe. Lift your chest up. Keep your shoulders moving toward the back plane of your body. So the heads of the arm bones move back as you lift your chest, and then slowly still engage with your legs. Release your legs back. Make a pillow with your hands and rest. Rest into the fullness of it. It's full flavor. Takes a lot of courage to look at the places where we did something that doesn't sit well with who we want to be, and instead of pushing it away and justifying it and giving ourselves all the excuses that we need, we turn toward it and let it eat from our plate, and we bring it into the palace and we do the work. And that work is transformative. It's not without resistance, but it is with openness. Both end, complexity. And complexity is what lives in the shadows. It's what lives in the well of our being, in the murky, dark waters of the pond. This is where our complexity has a lot of room to keep complexifying. So turn toward it and you become a more well-rounded person. You become the radiant golden ball. Bend your knees one more time. We can do this. Spread your toes. Reach back with your hands and grab your feet. And again, bring the feet in. Maybe stay here. Draw the heads of the arm bones, the shoulders back. Don't let the shoulders roll forward. Pull them back. Bring your feet closer in if you can. Pull the legs in toward the center and push them out at the same time. So push them into the hands. Push against the resistance, but don't lose the resistance. Then turn the fingers over your toes if you can. Breathe into your belly. You can even use your hands to pull on your feet a little bit. Lift your chest. Lengthen your lower back. This is a lot of crunchiness on the lower back for some of us. So breathe slowly. Act wisely. Come out of the pose if this is an injurious kind of pain. Breathe deeply. And then slowly with engagement, release the legs, make a pillow, and rest. And we restore the child. We go back into child's pose. We restore the child just as much as we restore our relationship with the prince and turn it from a frog into a glorious, magnificent, charming character. We restore the light of the sun as we retrieve it, but not without the parts of us that are uncomfortable for us to look at. Slow breath. Bring yourself to lie on your back. And bring your knees into your chest. Move a little side to side. And then take your knees to the right and open the left shoulder to the left. Slow breath. Ground the left shoulder. Breathe slowly. Let the openness in the heart happen through parts of you actually pulling away from one another, right? The knees go to the right. The shoulder on the left side goes to the left and to the ground. Stretch yourself, open yourself, grow yourself. This time in history requires our deep work, our willingness to go in more than one direction, not only up into the palace, not only high into the places that we think are the good parts, but down into the murk simultaneously, so that we can see what needs our churning, our staring, our attention. Bring your knees back to center, inhale, and do the work. Exhale, take your knees to the left and open the right arm to the right. Right shoulder grounds into the earth. Slow breath. Feel your body participating in your transformative contemplation. And feel the contemplative's invitation for the body's transformation. Feel the connection. Notice what needs more connections, more attention and a weaving and an integration. And with an inhale, bring your knees back up to center and give yourself a very loving and sweet hug. And I'm going to release you into Shavasana to relax your body. But before we do that, because I'm going to leave you there and let you relax there for as long as you can. But before we do, I would love to know what fairy tales, what stories you love and feel like a transformative journey for you. And I'd love for you to leave it for me in the comments of this video. And then maybe it'll make it to another practice like that, where we explore a fairy tale or a story or a myth in our bodies through a practice. So let me know and put a like on this video if you like it. And if you like it, also please share it with your people. If you're not subscribed to this channel, subscribe to this channel, and I'll leave a link for you in the description of the video to subscribe to my mailing list and to my Substack, so that we can go deeper and wider into more archetypes, mythology, and somatic ways of exploring. Okay, thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest in your Shavasana, and I'll see you soon. Okay, thank you. Namaste.